thought I'd just come on for a bit of a random chat, just because I feel like it. I need to wash my hair. But the greatest movie ever I'll talk about in a minute, but randomly, for those of you who know, I was doing a nail course. I did send it off and it came back, and I've just got to do 2 more rows and then that's it, because this all interlocks sort of, but I should have gone with my gut feeling, because the first lot of nails I did, for those of you who know, you do it on a card, were fine. And then the last ones I did, because I left it for a bit, were a little bit too thick, and I thought at the time, I think we're a little bit too thick, my gut feeling was saying, and they were, and that's all I've got to change. 2 sets, that's it, send back off, and it should be done. And that's me sorting all that out. And somebody said, oh, by the way, there are a few people that have asked about me looking straight on, and I don't seem as confident when I'm looking over there. I can't help it. If this was a computer, laptop or something, with a camera in the middle or webcam, I'd find it a lot easier to look straight forward, but I can't. I always look to the side because the camera's over there. I just can't. I've always done it. I try to look, but I've always done it. And I probably always will do it unless I've got a new device thing. I'm not professional anyway, so I don't know. But me and this channel, before I talk about the greatest movie on earth, I started it a few years ago, didn't know what I was doing, just felt like I wanted to do it because I just thought, let me see if I can do it, and I like talking. If people haven't guessed, I'm a bit of a chatterbox, and everything has always been positive. You can go back, no matter what I've talked about, it's always been in a positive light. And I know I've helped people because I've had lovely messages of people, and even if it's only a few, that's what counts. I know I'm doing something good. It doesn't matter what other people think. And I used to think, why am I on YouTube? I don't really know what I'm doing, but at least if I've helped a couple of people feel better, and people who've been ill as well feel better, then that's what counts. But I'm coming to realise now, maybe I was meant to come on YouTube because of what's happening now, and the freedom of speech thing, and the truth that needs to come out and is still coming out, and it's going to need people like the people who are putting this out there for other people to come and have a chat and realise a few things, and maybe for people, when they start waking up properly, to realise they can come and talk to people and discuss stuff, things that are going on, if you get what I mean, very soon. I don't know what's really happening in the normal news. If anyone wants to leave any comments, I don't know really what's going on, because, like I say, I don't watch telly. Mainstream media just deceive, and deceive. And I just can't watch them. And last night I put a video up saying about the IG report. Some of you won't know what I'm talking about, but some of you will. And I tried to stay up, and it was absolutely hilarious. We know it hasn't all properly come out yet. People are getting impatient and thinking, oh, here we go again, it's the same thing, it's not coming out properly. But when you actually read some of it, you can see it. But there's going to be more. It's got to be patient. It's got to play out. But the funny thing was that I did notice last night, because obviously it was an American time anyway, and I was getting tired, was when the Democrats came on. Oh, dearie me. The comments I was watching on this live stream were hilarious. They were just like, you could just tell they were lying through the teeth. They really think they're winning, and they're so not. And what they remind me of, because people call them rats, Democrats, Demorats, it reminds me like the Pied Piper's coming with his little flute, and he'll soon be singing a tune, and they'll be following, and then they're just going to end up falling in the river, or whatever it was on that story, the Pied Piper, along with all the cronies and all the black cats, like people like to say, and they'll all be drowning in their own sin and their own deceitfulness, and soulless, you know what I mean? They'll just be gone. And if some people don't get it, there's a movie playing out. It's got to be played out the right way. It's all for the cameras and it's all for mainstream media. It's got to be played out right. Yeah, all the wickedness is going to be shown. We're playing them at their own game. If you want to say bad versus evil, good versus bad, we're playing them at their own game. So don't get disheartened that you think there's not much in it, or at the end of the day, the IG report was the IG report, then it's redacted, it's been modified. Who's been modifying it? I think Rod Rosenstein, if that's his name, right, if I've said it right. Why would he be modifying it? Why would he want to be changing the report? I wonder. But people are still thinking there's not much, and it's like a 500-page report. But even if people think they can't see things in there, there was something in someone was saying before about the way they've written it as well. But there'll be more coming out, so don't be disheartened about it's mentioning Hillary Clinton and foundations. Where did I write it down? A minute. Hillary Clinton, get this in your head. Hillary Clinton and foundations, crimes against children. Crimes against children. Foundations. One of the foundations I think she's got, because she's probably got her fingers in a lot of foundations, is the Haiti Foundation, and that's to do with children. Do you really think she was helping children in the earthquakes, the Haiti earthquakes? Do you really think she was helping children, or helping these children to get adopted out? Who are they getting adopted out to? Just think on that when stuff starts coming out if you don't know. But it's just a massive show, and it has to run its course, and it has to be played out in such a way. It's like watching a movie. You'll go and watch them say something, like the Democrats last night, and you know something totally different's going on. But how they're just going to get caught up in the words on camera as well. It's like a big movie, get your popcorn in, and you're just watching what happens. And it's not just, what people don't seem to understand, it is not just that's going on in America. It's going on globally, because obviously we know the black hats are global, you know, the elites. And it's even like over here with the Tommy Robinson thing, that's just like everything's interlocking and shaping up, and we're all on the same path of wanting truth, having our freedoms, because it's all the same thing, having our freedom. And can you imagine if something dropped on Independence Day for the Americans, but for the world? That'd be great as well. People just don't seem to understand that. Even people that are on the path and they know are still impatient, but you've just got to hang on. It's got to play out. This big movie's got to play out. We're not at the end yet. We're not at the end of the movie. So, I'm talking about movies. It's totally off the subject, but Netflix, which I'm still watching, which I shouldn't be watching, but I don't watch telly, but you know, Netflix that we're trying to put I don't know if they're doing it, and a documentary with Obama in it, because he wants to stick his narrative on there. And we all know about Netflix either getting boycotted or. But I was watching a while back a series called Sense8. I think it's called Sense8, and I did really enjoy it. And I know a lot of films on there, they push the narrative, but I did enjoy it. And then it disappeared, and they weren't going to bring it back. And it's back, and I'm so glad, because it's got bits of things in there that was like, you know, the people going against the establishment and the, you know, the ones that are in control and been in control for many years, but it's starting to get good now. It's starting to get good. It can make you feel a bit like, oh, you know, we want it now, it needs to come out, but it has to be played right. And it has to be played within the law as well, because these black hats do not play within the law. They think they are above everything, especially if they're worshipping Satan. They think they're in control. It's all crumbling. I keep saying this, if you don't believe me, look around the world. Look when you're out, keep looking on the internet at different countries and what's happening there. Italy, France, even Iran now. There's lots of things happening in Iran, in the Middle East, for the better as well. There's no point watching people. You can't, even my videos, you can't just watch people's videos and take everybody's word for it, because there's somebody who keeps posting on here videos that I've seen, but if someone's truly awake to what's really going on, some people think they're awake and they're posting other stuff, and it's like, you don't need to keep showing me. I know what the truth is. Some people are on the right path and they've got bits of truth, but some of it's mixed up with other stuff. It's like, I'm sick of people going on about, oh yeah, but such and such a body's a Zionist, or the this, that, and the other. And it's like, there's a big difference between Jews and Zionists. It's just pathetic. That's like saying every Jew is a Nazi, a murdering Nazi or something. No, that's pathetic. And I'm sick of people going on about different countries as in, oh, the British, oh, the Americans, oh, the whatever. No, it's not the people in the country, we the people, the patriots of our country. It is the people who is ruling that country, the elites, the ones that have sold themselves out, the ones who have sold the soul to the devil, basically. They don't care because they earn lots of money. They don't care what happens to normal people, working class people, because basically they don't live in those areas. They live in posher areas. They have lots of money. They do not care. They don't care if people are dying around the world. They don't care if kids are getting abused and getting killed. They don't care if people are starving. They do not care. They make out through deceiving on news and stuff that this celebrity and that celebrity, oh, look at them, aren't they fantastic? They've gone to Africa and they're helping the children and they're doing this, that. Are they really? Because that's the picture they put on the screen for you. That is not, I'm not saying that's always happening, but it isn't always as it seems. A bit like fairy tales. A lot of fairy tales like Snow White and stuff like that, people might be thinking, what's going on about? Is some of them have been taken from true stories. If you've ever heard of, is it Brothers Grimm? And they've been made to be all nicey when the actual backstory of those stories are nothing like what you thought. They're quite grim, as the Brothers Grimm. So don't be deceived by the mainstream media putting something out visual to you because it's just a picture. It's going to work your emotions, like I said before, and it's not always as it seems. Hi! It's not always as it seems. A lot of us know it's not always as it seems. How do they get into the masses of us thinking all over the world to put their agenda and their narrative? The TV, films, magazines. That's why they wanted to burn books years ago, because there was truth in books and things came out and they wanted to burn them all so people didn't read what was going on, or didn't have, if someone maybe brought a book out about, herbs and different things that can heal you from, the inside out, and you don't need, all these medicines are pumping out, or new technologies, because this is all going to come out. There are medicines out there and technology out there that will heal people from all the horrible diseases and things like that. They've not been putting them out. They've either been killed off, shut up, or they've not been allowed to bring them out, because obviously it's money making for us to be ill. It's money making for you to be ill, keep us ill, keep buying your pharmaceutical stuff, big pharma. It's all money, And I keep saying to people as well, it doesn't matter what path you're on about getting woken up, like some people are saying, oh, if you follow Q, which I do, oh, he's a farce. Oh, me, 41. he's a farce, this is a farce, Trump is a farce, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Q says things, and a bit after we've said it, yeah, CBD, exactly. They've happened, and we've seen it. So it doesn't matter if people are saying, oh, is this, that, and the other. I am 41. 41. Can't you see the grey in my hair? 41. So it doesn't matter who you sort of follow that gets you to the truth in the end. It's about getting to the truth. So people who are saying, you know, this is not real, it is real because he's got us to the same point and everything he said is coming true. Told us to watch the movie. There's definitely a movie playing out. And what was Satan? He was the biggest deceiver. He was the biggest deceiver. Not that I'm into all that, but he is the biggest deceiver. So he's going to deceive you for the TV. You know, because the thing is, like I said before, once there's a massive hive mind going on at the minute, and that's everyone being able to talk around the world like I am and getting information out there, and everyone starts talking and you start telling your friends, and then gradually people start waking up. Some people might only wake up a little bit. Maybe they're seeing, like with the Tommy Robinson thing, if anyone was visiting London, and lots of people visit London from around the world, they could have been there when that march happened last weekend and been like, oh, what's going on in Trafalgar Square? Like, what's going on down 10 Downing Street? There's like 20,000 or more people doing a march, and they've seen the name Tommy and this, that, and the other. This is like an example, but it's true. And even people who live here, and then they go home and they think, oh, well, it'll be on the news after, so I'll switch the news on tonight and, you know, it'll be on the news. No, it's not on the news. And they're all like, but it was a massive big rally. Why was it not on the news? You'd think someone would be reporting on it. If they did report on it, it'd just be drunken hooligans outside 10 Downing Street, blah, blah, blah. And then if they do put the story on a Tommy, it'll just be about mortgage fraud, blah, blah, blah. He went to prison for last time. We all actually know that wasn't true. If you go back and try and find out about Tommy Robinson's story, you will find out a lot of the deceiving mainstream media. But it's going to get people thinking, I don't trust mainstream media, because they were saying there was only a couple of hundred people there. They were trying to put the march off. People are going to see that out in the real world. Don't need to be told on mainstream media. They're going to see it and think, but I was there, or I was visiting and I saw thousands of people, and they've not put it on the news, and they only said there was a couple of hundred there. Because what they do is, they do this on Trump rallies as well. And I'm not even from America, and I know they do this. They will film a part maybe over that side where there's just a few people and it looks less than there is. That's what they'll film. That's what they'll put on mainstream media. Trump rallies, I've seen it when I've watched them. They will look for empty seats. That's what they'll home in on. Or obviously, because they're only filming the frame that you see, they'll say there wasn't a lot of people there, but you can't say anything, because if you weren't there, you can't see. You only know the truth if you're there, and that's when people know. But I think one of the rallies a while back, Trump told everyone to make a noise, so you could hear the noise of how many people were there compared to what they were actually saying was there. So if they were saying there was only a couple of hundred and you can hear like thousands screaming, it shows you for what they are. They're lying. And this is the whole thing with the IG report. They're getting caught out. They're digging a deeper hole for themselves, and just let them do it. There's nothing we can do about it now apart from be asking for the real report. We want to see it, making ourselves loud, because when this drops again, they're going to look stupid and everyone's going to be like, oh, what is actually going on? We need people who have been talking about this. We need the truth. We don't want to follow mainstream media because they're not putting it out as such yet. Fox does a bit half and half on there, so they're not bad, but everybody else, they will say things on there, but they are starting to put stuff out because I think there's an agenda in there as well. One of the news channels are going to have to start reporting on truth soon. It's going to be like no mistaking. They've got to do it. Like, what they're going to do. My eldest is 19 and he's starting to wake up, and he said he's seen a lot of stuff on the internet, what I've been saying, because it's not just me saying it, it's global. And yes, Fox is the same, but there's Tucker Carlson, what's his name? There's a couple of reporters that are reporting bits of truth, but the rest aren't. But you don't know, maybe they'll take over in the end, because they're going to have to start reporting on something because they're going to look stupid. And my other son's younger, so he doesn't have a clue. My family, me and my dad are on the ball. It's my dad who told me about it. My mum thinks I'm bonkers, and my sister is like, she knows, but not to the extent of what a lot of us know. Like, people think it's a game, and funny enough, it is sort of a game, you know, like the film War Game. It is like that, but it's real, and people are dying. And the stuff they tried to do would scare a lot of people if they actually knew, like the missiles they were setting off the other day, but they got shot down. People thought it was a helicopter. It was a missile. You can tell it was a missile, but it got shot down. People just think, yeah, my mum knows, because she's from the generation back. She knows, like, she doesn't believe in Wi-Fi, you know, because it's not really healthy for you, is it? Wi-Fi, what they call it, microwave waves or whatever. She knows about certain stuff. She's not on Wi-Fi. She knows about, like, how kids are today, with how brainwashed they are, and how all these feminists go around, but they're like overly feminist, and all the stuff they're spouting out today about racist this and everything's racist and double standards of everything. She sees that, but she can't get her head round, like most people will say. And one of my friends said this, and she might be watching, and I don't mean it nastily, but people will say, oh, well, it doesn't really matter, does it? Because it's been going on for years, because it has, in centuries or whatever. It doesn't really matter because it's been going on for years. And I said, well, it does matter. You know, nothing's going to change. I went, well, it is going to change this time, because a lot more people are waking up. We've been asleep for centuries. If we don't wake up and be loud and get the truth out, yeah, nothing will get done. But that's why they're saying freedom of speech is very important. So when you get these nodules like Antifa thinking they're standing up for the rights, they're not. They're saying it's hate speech. Hate speech is free speech. We need our freedom of speech. If you don't like what someone is saying, don't listen to them. You can walk away. You have a choice. You can have an opinion of whatever. If that's what you feel, that's what you feel. If you don't like what someone's saying, if you don't like what I'm saying on this channel, don't come and watch me. It's as easy as that. Go and find somebody that you're interested in who talks about maybe the political views or opinions that you're into, because you're flogging a dead horse at the end of the day. Like, most people in the comments are really great. They are awake. Some are slightly awake, and some are just trying to change my opinion by posting links. It doesn't matter. I believe in what I believe. I can see what's going on. The more you're awake, the more you see what's going on. So it doesn't really matter, but this is just my opinion. If someone doesn't like it, they don't need to be watching. They can just go and watch someone else who's talking about maybe the opposite thing to what I'm saying. But I know there's a lot of you who know what I'm talking about. But I think it's going to be a lot harder for when all this stuff properly drops and starts coming out and people start talking more who are asleep. Oh, we can. We are ordinary people, but the thing is that people don't understand is we, the people, the normal people, have been asleep for a long time. Once we're all united and stop, this is why they're getting us arguing over everything's racist. Black Lives Matter, you know, they're going Black Lives Matter, or the feminists and all this. It's not about that. Black lives, it's not Black Lives Matter. I keep saying this, is everybody's lives matter. It's for humanity. If you're just saying white lives matter, that means nobody else lives matter. If you're saying Black lives matter, that means nobody else lives matter, like whites or whatever. It's everybody united. You know, it's like football teams. You know, men in England will rival each other's football teams. You know, they're hating on someone if you don't like Man United versus City, or Arsenal versus Liverpool. I don't know, whatever. I'm not into football, but this time round, this is like an example. These football fans are going to have to come together and unite and put all that aside, fighting or going on with each other, whose team lost and whose team's the greatest, right? It's a bit like religion. Whose God's the greatest, whatever. If you're a person with morals and good values, and you know right from wrong, because that's what it's about, knowing right from wrong, you come together, you unite for your freedoms to do what you want to do, and to talk. And basically that's what it's all about. There is more of us, we the people, than there are the elites. That's what people got to understand. If we do not rise up, because this is the time to rise up, it's not about fighting, it's about doing it in a civil way. I know people keep saying, oh yeah, but if we don't, yeah, but that's what they want us to do. They want us to fight, because then if we're all kicking off with each other, we're all hurting each other, killing each other, that's doing the job for them. It's their job is to depopulate the world and keep people ill and keep taking money off them, keep them depressed, keep them in debt. But if we the people, if you're awake, and I am going to say that word, if you take the red pill, you're awake. You can't not ever see it again, because you see the tricks and the signals they put out on TV and the things around you. You can see what's happening. You can't ever go back to sleep. But if you want to take the blue pill and you don't want to take the red pill, you're just going to stay asleep. But gradually, this awakening's been going on for years. Years. I've heard so many, because I used to watch, I still do watch spiritual, like, YouTubers, and they've been, these ones I say, oh, we're off to another planet and all that. Well, from what I've seen, some black people of what I've been seeing down in London know about this takeover. Because it, like I've said, of what I've seen on YouTube, it's a Christian takeover. And it looks like a Jewish one as well. That's why people are always shouting Zionist out. Oh, such a bad Zionist if they're Jewish. You really need to go and do your own work there. But no, because you have a lot of Christian churches with black people, and a lot of Christians around the world they're not all white, they're all different, and that is what, when you look around, is what's been taken down. It's Christianity, like the values and stuff like that. But putting religion aside, you don't need to be religious to know what's right and wrong at the end of the day. You know, with hurting people or murdering people or abusing people, that is wrong. And if people think that is right, then they are standing on the devil's side, because it is not moral. It is not, it is not right. So any person with common sense and good values and a good heart knows right from wrong. And if you don't, then you need to be off this planet, basically. Well, yeah, well, there's an agenda behind it all. Why they spout all this stuff all the time. It's all about hating. It's all about getting cultures to hate each other. Everything you can think of, they're just getting someone said the other day, I was watching a video, and I think it was in Australia, and they said they wanted to get these stupid women, I'm a woman and I think they're stupid, oh, you know, the traffic lights is normally like a stick man thing, so because it's a stick man, they want to put dresses on because it's sexist. I mean, have you ever heard anything stupid? I don't look at the traffic lights thinking, that's well sexist, that is. They need to be wearing a dress. It's just a sign to show you to walk across the road, basically. It's just a stick, man. Get a grip of yourself. It's all right being a feminist, like years ago, to get equal rights sort of thing. It's about being equal. It's not about tipping the point, and feminists have gone overboard and they're all like, women rule and women are better than men, women this and women that, and we want to do this, because I'm sorry, I'm a woman, and yes, we can do some of the things men do, but being sensibly thinking, men do far better jobs in some jobs than women do, and that's just fact. Don't care if anyone says anything different. But it is about being equal. It's not about over tipping. Everything's over tipping on a minute. We're on a knife edge at the minute. We're like this. We're like this at the minute. If we had all the feminists and all this lot here, Antifa and all them, they want us to go like that, because once we go like that, that's the end of the West. They're going for the West. They're going for the West values, the freedom. What was the biggest thing in the West everyone goes on about? The free. A lot of people come to the West because they're coming out of countries that are under a regime, and they want to be able to be free in what they say, what they do, job opportunities and all that. That's why they come. I truly believe when this all comes out, because they are doing things in the Middle East now, And the regime is falling apart, by the way. You need to go and look around at other people. You can see it happening in the EU and Middle East. So if this happened and this regime is falling and crumbling and a new regime gets in for freedom, for everybody's rights, equal rights for everybody, men and women, all around the world, to be free to have food, to be able to talk about stuff, everything. I think some people, I'll have to read that in a minute. I think some people who were from another country that have come into the West, wherever it is, to get away from that because they want to be free, because we are living in 2018 now, would probably go home. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. I mean, they might have loved their homeland, but because certain things have happened over there and they feel like they're not safe there, they don't want their children going up there because it's not safe, would under a new, up-to-date laws and, stuff, you know what I'm talking about, would go back home because some of them love the home, but under the regime it's been under, they don't want to live there because you're putting your life in danger. So I could see that happening if this is what happens. I could see people going back home, not because they hate in the country that they're now in, just because they believe they'd be able to go home and live a life that they've had in the West over in the home where they were from, because the bad guys have been taken down, basically. Because I also believe that when the UN have gone to these countries to help, they've not been helping. They're under the establishment. They're not helping, they're hindering. I mean, that might change soon because some of the bad people, if you want to call it, are being taken out and new people will be put back in the positions that are supposed to be doing the jobs they were sent there to do. Not what Obama sent them to do, by the way, or Hillary or Bush. What they were meant to be doing in the first place was helping humanity, helping people, and all that. And that's what I believe. You don't have to believe that, but it's out there on the internet. You need to go and look at what other countries are doing at the minute. Stop watching mainstream media and just, even if you don't believe it, just start thinking like, why did they say this? Someone was going on about Iran the other day saying they were burning a lot of women were taking I can't remember what they're called, off, and liberating themselves because women are allowed to drive over there and stuff like that. But still, on mainstream media like Instagram, they were still putting up how fashionable it is to wear it, and there's a big coming back of wearing it and this, that, and the other, and it's fashionable. That's how they're deceiving you to make it think that, oh, that is what they're doing over there. This is what's happening over here. No, it isn't. Because if you pull back that curtain of deception, it's a totally different story, what's happening around the world. And then you get people saying, like my mum, but it's on the news, so it must be true. Right, okay. So because it's on the news, therefore it must be true, because they're reporting on it. And they've gone out and reported, really, and found out the truth, and they're putting it on. Well, half of them don't go out to places. Half of them don't. If they're going out reporting, they're not listening, because basically they get told what to say. They're paid to put out what they're paid to put out. So a lot of people will say, but I watch the news, so therefore it must be true. What's going to happen anyway? It's been happening for years. What's going to change this time? Oh, well, I don't really care. As long as it's not affecting me and my kids, I'm not bothered. Well, sorry to say, if we don't stand up together, united, it will affect you and your kids in a few more years, because you won't be able to have freedom of speech. You won't be able to do half of the things you do now. Your kids won't be able to go out later at night because, there's a lot of stuff happening now. And you won't be able to have the freedom that we all once had, especially like when way back generation of my mum and dad and my mum's mum and dad, all that they're trying to take away, trying to suppress us and get us under a regime of a new world order, which is basically, shut up and do as you're told, basically, and keep giving your money away to them. They get richer, we get poorer. They get healthier, we don't, if you understand what I'm saying. So you've really just got to start looking behind that curtain. Well, 9/11 will be coming out. everybody knows about that anyway. So this is how daft they are. They think people don't know. People knew as soon as that happened, the lies that were told there with who did it and like blah 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 blah. We all know when that comes out. Us who know won't be shocked, but the world that are asleep will be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. What did they say that was? It was like watching a movie, wasn't it? I'm not saying it didn't happen and people didn't die. It's actually what got twisted in the reports of why it happened. Yeah, the third tower, exactly. Have you seen the video with Bush as well, with the kids at the school? Oh, see, there's proving my age. Can you see my white hair? So I don't know whether to let my white hair come in or dye it. I don't really want to dye it. I'd like white hair. Because maybe it'd make me look like more wisdom or something. But yeah, the school assembly. Oh, see, people just. If you watched the Democrats last night with the IG report, it was absolutely hilarious. I was absolutely laughing my head off at what they were saying. And I just can't wait for it to drop again. Oh, and yesterday as well, I was watching it. I don't know what channel. And they kept cutting off while they were waiting for people to come and talk. And then all of a sudden, it panned on Arizona. Some traffic, and said, oh, it's some traffic jam. There's a load of police there. And I was like, Arizona desert police. What's going on in Arizona? It wasn't a traffic jam. There was police purposely across the road. And I'm like, Arizona desert? What's going on in Arizona? Or not going on in Arizona, as people are trying to say, or diversions from Arizona, or that's what I was thinking anyway. I was just like, it's a bit odd. But it doesn't matter who wakes you up on this awakening of this fantastic movie that's been playing out. It's the coming together of different people around the world, different colours of skin, different cultures, forgetting that and coming together. Because if you're someone who doesn't want freedom for the world, for humanity, there's something definitely wrong with you. If you think it's right for some parts of the world to be starving and living in war and kids dying and stuff like that, there's something seriously wrong in your head, because nobody, in my eyes, should be living like that worldwide. There's no need for it in this day and age, absolutely no need for it, but they've kept it like that with the establishment, people getting paid off with millions, billions, trillions. Soros pushing this all the time with his money to keep people in Brexit. When the people have spoken around the world saying they don't want to be in it, in the EU, we don't want to be in it, you listen to the people. Because at the end of the day, this will happen because you will listen to the people. And you can see it kicking off around now. That doesn't mean that if we're out of the EU, that you still can't do certain trades with people, or, you know, when you go on holiday, you're not all hating on each other. You can still be neighbours and be friends, love thy neighbour and all that maloney. Well, it's true. It just means people don't want to be taking orders from different countries apart from their own, and apart from your own with the right people in, who are giving laws out and stuff, not the corrupt that have been had loads of money chucked at them. And I mean, I feel sorry for some people in these jobs, police force and all that, because, you know, everyone's saying, oh, they're corrupted and all this, and they are, but it's the establishment over them, and they're just wanting to keep the jobs, so they're doing as they're told. Oh yeah, I've been sending money to countries for years. But if you've actually seen the real pictures of, is it King John? I always get his name wrong. How he's so happy now. He was under control. He had to say what he said to his people, did what he did, and someone's just put a video out today, and it's an absolutely, I'm going to have to find it and tell you, a great video of other pictures that you don't see of him, what's really happening compared to the ones that they're putting out in mainstream media. It's really funny. Oh, he wants changed. He's getting changed. The thing with Trump and the career thing, it's all, the deal's been done. The deal was done ages ago. It's a big, massive movie being played out for the media, the cameras. A lot of us already know what's gone down, the deals that have gone down. A bit like the IG report, we know who's going down, but they think they're winning. They can carry on winning. Maybe they'll find some doorknobs with scarves as well, I don't know. But don't know. I don't know what's going on in the normal news. I mean, there's certain stuff as well that people are putting out about different things that are going on in England, and maybe their propaganda to get hating on, you know, certain factors. But at the end of the day, people have still got to be woken up to it, and the fact that, you know, the truth that Tommy's been putting out, people need to be awake to it. Because slowly for years, Putin knew what was going on. Putin's not as bad as what people think he is. Putin's no. Where's Julian Assange anyway? Oh, and on this video I was watching yesterday, they had a picture of the world, NASA. I was like, NASA. Okay. And I said, look, is it a plane? Is it a bird? No, it's Julian Assange. Putin, I'm telling you now, he's seen stuff. I'm not saying everyone's, you know, an angel, but he's seen stuff. He knows what's been going on to kids and certain stuff. And yeah, strong man. You need somebody strong to say no to stuff as well, not to back down, be given loads of money and back down and sell your country out, because that's what's been happening around the world. These leaders have been selling the countries out, covering up lots of stuff, lots of really, really horrible stuff that some people, when this all drops, are not going to believe it, and they're still going to be like all the feminists are still going to be loving Hillary Clinton. I think even when the truth comes out, they won't be able to switch. They won't be able to. They'll just be like, oh, yeah, we just got the wrong people. And not all the people. Some people have obviously just had their voices squashed or whatever, and they're made to look like the nuts, or it's a conspiracy or whatever. But when the right people get into the places where they should be, which is happening behind the scenes. Oh, and apparently, it was reporting yesterday, so many thousands, I don't know the number, of children have been saved from child trafficking, and some of the youngest are 7 months old. Hillary Clinton Foundation, what was that about? Crimes against children have been saved. There's been lots of arrests as well. There's been, I can't remember how many numbers of arrests for paedophilia. This is all going on behind the scenes, which some people don't know about and they don't see, because they will not put the winnings of Trump's, what he's actually doing, on mainstream media. Like I keep saying, they all keep slagging him off. Robert De Niro was slagging him off the other day. I wonder why Robert De Niro was. All these actors, it's not all the actors, but it's a lot of them, and a lot of you are going to be surprised who's been in on it, who has turned a blind eye to what's been going on for many years just to be famous. That's why when people say, oh, someone committed suicide, oh yeah, but they had loads of money. I'd be happy if I had loads of money. No, you wouldn't, because that's saying of, you know, they probably sold the soul to the devil. Well, they actually have. It is not what you think sometimes to be that famous. Sometimes it's all smoke and mirrors, which is what mainstream media is, all smoke and mirrors. They are like Hollywood, aren't they? Well, they are Hollywood. Look at Hollywood. Hollywood's going down. No, money does not make you happy. I've always done my videos. They've always been random with different things in spirituality, whatever I was on at the time. They've always been positive, and I've always said, you know, I don't have money, but at the end of the day, money does not make you happy. Yes, it helps to pay your bills, and, you know, if you've got a car or whatever, and to get food in, and obviously stuff like that. But you only really need the basics. As long as you've got a bit of money and you can do a few nice things and you can eat and you've got a roof over your head, somewhere to sleep, you know, blah, 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 that sort of stuff. Running water, distilled by the way, get rid of your fluoride, then you're a lucky person. Because if you're only doing stuff out of ego, which a lot of these elites are, out of the false ego of just wanting, and all these people that are flashing, you know, oh, look at all my jewellery with all my diamonds in it, and I wear a necklace with a big whatever on the front of it, you know, it cost me this much and it's full of diamonds. So what? At the end of the day, so what? It's just your ego wanting stuff to show off to people, to make people look up to you and think that the stuff you put out is truth just because you've got more money or whatever it is. It's not happiness. Happiness is found, I've said this for a long time, in your family, your kids, good friends. You don't have to have loads of friends because this is what everyone does on Facebook and everywhere else. Oh, look who's following me. I've got thousands and millions of subscribers, or look at all my hundreds of friends on Facebook. They're not all your friends. You might have known some from school and some on the way. They're not all your true friends. You just all want to like each other and get your ego, get a big massive ego about, oh, look what I'm wearing, or look how many friends I've got. It's all to do with the false ego. Once you drop that, it's just so much easier not to be keeping up with the Joneses. If you are always keeping up with the Joneses, keeping up with what next door's got a new car, oh, I need a new car, oh, look what next door's got, they've got a new this, that and the other, oh, look at the clothes she wears, I want that, get yourself in debt. Who's bothered? You'll never be happy because you're always chasing the next thing, which is a bit like the elites are always chasing the next thing, you know, who's in control of this, who's in control of that. Oh, just let it drop, you know. You know, kids today go after labels and this, that, and the other. Oh, I've got to have this, and this costs so much for a pair, £100 for a pair of trainers. So what? It's just a name that's on your trainer. And if you find out about some of the names like Nike and Adidas, what they actually stand for, you wouldn't want to be wearing them. And the only reason they're that price is it's just a name. It doesn't always mean they're good quality. It's a name. And if you look at some of the fashion designers, and you want to look at the sort of fashion shows they put on, and you're not telling me they're satanical, they're white genocide, some of them in lately absolutely disgusting. Like the picture of Obama on his portrait pictures. What's all that about? They were dead modern compared to everybody else's. Oh yeah, people are always like this down the street, hypnotised, walking. They walk, they're not looking at the kids, they're walking on the phone all the time. They're addicted, it's an addiction. And the portrait of Obama's dead modern compared to the other ones, you know, of the presidents before and the first ladies. And his is modern, and it's horrible actually. It's quite satanical when you look at it, if you know what you're looking for. And I'm sure his picture, they're not actually painted, it's sent off to China or somewhere, and they do these prints. It's by the same person who's been putting pictures out of black women cutting off white women's heads. And everyone's going, oh yeah, it's only art. No, it's not. It's an agenda, and it's called white genocide, actually, if you want to get into it, because all this will come out. And they were doing like, I don't follow fashion, I just wear what I want to wear. Fashion shows, like, they're just like really satanical fashion shows. And everyone goes, oh, but it's art, like that Maria Obamovich witch, whatever her name is. She's a witch though. The stuff she puts out with blood and stuff and eating human flesh, which by the way, that goes on in LA in a restaurant called Cannibal something or other. And this is real, people. And she, yeah, Jay-Z video. Well, we all know about Jay-Z as well. Yeah, the video. And everyone goes, who are brainwashed. Oh, it's art. It's fantastic. It's just art. It doesn't really matter if, you know, there's blood up the wall and there was a kid stood there and she's going on about spirit cooking. It's just art. No, it's not art. It's satanical. It's sick. And I think you have to be quite psychotic to like it because there's nothing good about it. I could chuck some blood up the wall. It's not art. It's her putting her agenda out there. But I did talk about that the other day. And you'll all see this in the end. It'll be like a big jigsaw and you'll start putting it together and unraveling the pieces of this and that and be thinking, oh yeah, it makes a bit of sense now, like why the feminists are always shouting this out all the time and shaving their heads and being really like anti-men all the time. Well, I'm sorry, we do need men on this planet, actually. Oh, the race cards, certain lot of people, certain cultures are not allowed to say this about certain cultures. You lot have got to shut up, and because we feel offended about everything. All right then, so you can offend us, but we can't offend you. Double standards. That's when people start waking up thinking, well, yeah, what is all this about? What is all this about? Because we didn't have this years back. It was creeping in, but it's not like it is today. And that's what people have got to understand. Oh yeah, lads are too soft these days, but that's what they're saying. They're too soft. They're saying things that are in your food and drink. I know people might not believe this. They're too soft. That's why when Alex Jones, people might not like him, was saying about the frogs being gay, what you drink, it's making men softer. I mean, yeah, there are soft men, but it's making them, the men softer and, be a bit more feminine and all that. And I was like that a bit ago, but now I see what they're doing. They're trying to demonize men, if that's the right word. They're trying to soften them up because, if you're a bit more emotional, like women can be sometimes, not all women, it's a bit softer. Like, oh yeah, come in, put the borders down, come in, oh, we'll all just be like the British have been in many other countries, yeah, we'll all just be a bit soft and everyone can walk all over us and do what you want, take our values away, take our religions in the countries away, take our freedom away. It's fine, we're just going to lie down and just, stay down and we're not going to say anything. Well, you're wrong, because we can all see what's going on. And if you have a look around the world, like I keep saying, it's starting to rise. There's lots of things going on in Parliament at the minute. There's lots of things going in the, what's the EU place where they all go? Lots of people from different countries are standing up. And the ones I've been watching, I've been amazed because they are talking about Tommy Robinson as well. Every speaker's been talking about it. There's a big uprising. This uprising has needed to happen because the world has been asleep for a long time. People knew before, they've always talked about the awakening, but there wasn't enough people awake to do it. But the time is right now because of a lot of people seeing, like I said, you can come from different views of who's woke you up, what woke you up. It might just be the Tommy Robinson thing, it might be something said on Alex Jones, it might be my video, someone else's video, Q, you went on holiday and you saw something, just something that wasn't making sense and mainstream media were putting a different story on, and you're like, there's lots of things happening. It's like a massive movie and it's all playing out in front of us. A bit like when the missile went off a few days ago in America and they tried to say it was a helicopter. When you actually see the picture of the rocket bit of it, people say, no, it was a beam and it was a helicopter. You can see the top of it. It was clearly a missile. You can see it was a missile. So when I say it's a film and people are putting, oh, it's a game, it is a game that we're all playing, a bit like a game of chess, but it's a war game. But it's actually real because people have died in this, for years. Kids getting killed, people getting killed, women and children. There is stuff happening because it is real. And people don't think, people just say, oh yeah, it's a game. No, it's actually real. It is a game, but it's real where people's lives are being messed with. Like that film War Games, a bit like Hunger Games. And the elites at the top do not care. But they are crumbling because you can see it happening. And you're soon going to see a lot more things and play out very, very soon. If you're watching the right people, like I said, there's a lot of videos that are putting stuff out and they're on the right track, but there's little bits missing. Like people won't believe certain people because they think they're a Zionist. We know about the elite Zionists, but just because someone's a Jew does not mean they're a Zionist or whatever they're going on about. You really need to start re-educating yourself and researching. But yeah, so if I find anything else out, I will be reporting on it. I just wanted to come on for a bit of a chat really and just say that I saw the Democrats yesterday, but I do believe the Piper is playing his flute, and we all know what happened in that story. So, oh, and the funny thing is, I'll have to find the guy out in America who stands on a corner somewhere in a full American flag sort of design, and he just educates people on the street, and you can bet him money as well, and he'll educate you, and he's so good. He's from an older generation, and he was even talking to English people that had gone on holiday about Tommy Robinson, and they just, because there's a lot of people in England who don't know who Tommy Robinson is in England, or have heard of him, but just go back to oh, well, he was a thug in a football, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's grown up now, and some of the stuff he's done he didn't do. It was just mainstream media saying that. And when he was a bit, probably couldn't get his anger under control years ago, that's when he was a lot younger. We all grow up. Don't all sit there watching going, oh, this, that, and the other. You've probably done things in your life and then regretted some of the things you've done in the past and then gone about it a different way. We all learn. That's what living is about. You do stuff, you learn from your mistakes. If you make mistakes, everyone makes mistakes. No one is absolutely perfect. And normally a mistake is something you didn't realise you were doing. And then you're like, oh yeah, I did that wrong. Now, where it comes to Obama, Bush, and Hillary, they knew what they were doing. It was no mistake what they were doing. So I'll just leave you with that, and I shall see you soon. Bye. And it was a long one again. Someone said the other day, a long video. My videos used to be long. I'm quite chatty. I can't help chatting. Bye.